What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Monday, May 28th, 2018. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the busiest lady in the business, Andrea Renee.
What's good, Greg?
Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day!
Yay!
To everyone here in the United States. Thank you to everyone who has lost their lives battling for this country and everything else. What are your Memorial Day plans, Andrea? Other than work, because I made you work.
I'm here. I'm planning to do some more chores because I'm an adult. That's what I've been doing all weekend, trying to catch up because, you know, this E3 planning has taken over my life. So this weekend, thankfully, I should not be getting any work emails today. Fingers crossed. I've gotten a couple.
It's quiet today. I'm the one sending out the work emails today. I've noticed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then I might go outside.
Oh, yeah.
Sit in the sun.
Are you staying for the barbecue?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good. Just making sure. We're barbecuing here. That's why I'm dressed in the barbecue clothes. It's got my Superman spatula as well. My Superman apron mom sent me.
The Portillo sunglasses.
Exactly. I'm here to chill. Cool, Greg, you chilling over there? You big chilling?
Always big cooling.
That's what I like to see.
It's quiet in the office with all the boys gone.
I know. Tim's still in New Orleans. Kevin just wants to see his wife, which is understandable. Andy, I know, knows what he does. Like, people are all over the place. You know, they're off doing their things. Just, I guess some people want to celebrate this holiday and do that and have it. Again, thank you to everyone in the armed services.
Hey, man.
Oh, yeah, hold on. I'm sorry. Cool, Greg, from the Kinda Funny Press Pool.
I was supposed to feed Kevin's cat, and I totally forgot. I hit him up at 2 in the morning, like, bruh, I'm on my way right now, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's okay. The cat's fine.
Yeah, the cat's fine.
Before we get started, because it is Memorial Day, I want to give a shout out and a spotlight to one of my favorite charities, Stack Up.
Oh,
so if you guys aren't familiar with this charity, it is a military video game charity that sends care packages to active duty troops who are stationed in various bases around the world, who are stationed here in the U.S. and who are recovering troops who are in VA hospitals. So they do a lot of really great work. So if you guys are looking for an opportunity to give back to servicemen and women, obviously we can't really give back to the people who have lost their lives, except, you know, remember them and give thanks for the sacrifice that they made. You can help out active duty troops and veterans that are still here with us. So stackup.org is the website. If you guys want to help, if you have a video game to donate, if you have extra codes, if you just want to donate time or money, they would greatly appreciate any kind of support. So again, that's stackup.org if you guys want to check that out. A
great charity. If you didn't know, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show. Write into kindafunny.com/KFGD. Give us your questions, comments, bad PSN names, and everything else under the video game sun. Then watch us record it live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. If you're watching live, you have a special job. Go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up. Then watch the show later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and on podcast services around the globe. Nick Scarpino, it's the rare appearance where you walk in on a Kinda Funny Games Daily. What do you got to say? You got the Pacifico and some limes.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Right? Yeah. What better way to celebrate U.S. Memorial Day?
Wait, are you going to the liquor store?
We're playing the barbecue. Yeah.
Maybe I'll text you. Let me think about it.
While Andrea thinks about it, let me run you through housekeeping. Gamescast is up now-ish. The YouTube version is delayed because just a snafu in our publishing schedule. It's the Detroit review and Andy's interview with Shaq. It's up as an audio MP3 right now. Should be up as a YouTube video later this afternoon. Right, cool, Greg?
Right.
Just making sure. E3 is coming up. If you didn't know or you're not paying attention, it'll be here before you know it. We will be doing, of course, on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames post shows and live reaction streams to each and every press conference except the PC one. You can get them later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames.
Hating on the PC gaming show.
We just have nothing to... I wish I had something to chime in about. When I see the differences... When I see Solitaire 2020, I'm not going to be able to tell you the differences between Solitaire 2019.
They had some really great news from that show last year.
Radeon
the only
cards,
problem is they do too many sponsored segments within the show, and it feels a little bit like overkill on the ads for all the press conferences.
We'll take a break there. But you can watch them all, Twitch, then later on YouTube, on the podcast services as well. Then we head to LA. We'll do a whole bunch of stuff from down there. We'll probably be live from somewhere, but we still can't announce that just yet. But one day we will. Wink. You'll see it. And then this episode is brought to you by Omaha Steaks and Brooklinen, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. I did that thing where I was in the back, right? Cold chillin', as Cool Greg says. Right? Is that how you say it, Cole Greg?
Big coolin'.
Big coolin',
Big
sorry. I was big
coolin'.
coolin' in the back, getting ready for the show. You, of course, hate me, so you sit up front and I never get to see you.
That's not fair.
We moved the couch back there for you. But you and Jared, Witta sits on it, but I'm like, Witta. I was back there, big coolin', and I was just resting the vocals. I wasn't talking at all. And then you yelled at Nick, and I yelled at Nick, and I went really loud. I just jumped out of the gate. You know what I mean? I hadn't warmed up, so my throat's all scratchy. Whatever.
You'll be
3
fine.
items on the rope report.
A baker's dozen.
Number 1, PUBG's gonna do better. This is via Eddie over at GameSpot, of course, longtime contributor to this show, Eddie, because we just steal stuff and read it on every show we've ever done. In a blog post recently, the studio behind PUBG Corp, of course, said it's been focused on hiring as part of its effort to invest in PUBG's ongoing development. Alongside the hiring, the studio is working on new content, like the Sandhawk map, I assume that's how I pronounce it, and various quality of life improvements. On top of this, the studio is working on a series of aggressive anti-cheat measures for PUBG. The studio has made strides, and the game is generally speaking in a better place now. But it hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows for the PUBG Corp. Here's where we get to the interesting quote. Quote, although we've made some meaningful improvements to PUBG, we've fallen short in other ways, the developer said. Players have rightfully called us out for failing to address complaints about performance, and recently we haven't done the best job of communicating about the changes we're making to the game. To address this, PUBG Corp published the first in a series of dev letters that aim to give the player community an update. That's what it says. On what's been going on at the studio and what they can expect for PUBG going forward. Of course, Eddie's article goes on to talk about the fact that Fortnite's so great about updating all the time and over-explaining all the time on what they're doing, why they're doing. We put the jetpack in, we're taking the jetpack out. This is why, this is it, now it's back. You're gonna die when you fall. Everybody kept fucking falling and dying, but no big deal. Do you see these videos?
Yes.
Okay.
I've just heard that there's some, unrest over the jetpack.
Yeah, but isn't there always in a live service game?
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's still early access. They got to tinker around a little bit, try it out.
What do you think about this PUBG post coming out and saying, hey, we understand we're not living up to what you want. We're going to try to do better.
I'm glad that they are finally publicly acknowledging that their game has issues. For a long time, the community and their development team made it out to be like they were the best thing since sliced bread. And while that game was very exciting and it ignited a base and kind of kickstarted this revolution in Battlefield Royale genre games, and clones, knockoffs all coming out of the woodwork, and they should absolutely be applauded for everything that they have accomplished. They also didn't acknowledge that the game was broken in a lot of ways.
Sure.
Playable, yes, absolutely, but as we talked ad nauseum about last year, not Game of the Year material.
Sure.
I'm glad that this is happening. I think that if they didn't acknowledge that they need to make improvements in their game with all of the other Battle Royale modes coming down the line, including, the Blackout from Call of Duty and the hypothetical Battlefield one that's coming, potential ones from other big games. Maybe we'll see something for Ghost Recon. Maybe we'll see something for Red Dead.
Division.
The Division seems ripe for a Battle Royale, so we don't know what else is coming, but they have competition and they see that. And I think that they've recognized not only do we want to do right by the millions of players who are actively playing our game and have asked us for improvements, but we want to encourage people who haven't tried to try it.
Or even the people who have lapsed, right? That did play and were like, oh my gosh, this is in.
Come back, we fixed it. Come back, we've added stuff.
It's crazy to think, a year ago this time we're talking about how PUBG is just setting all these Steam records. It's this concurrent base is out of control. It's such a movement. And then to get here a year later and have Fortnite have come on so strong and become even bigger in so many ways in terms of mainstream coverage.
Yeah, I have to admit, I never saw Fortnite Battle Royale becoming as huge as it was.
Yeah.
I loved Fortnite's original mode. We were just talking about this on What's Good the other day about how we had Darren Sugg, who was the creative director, I think still is, for Fortnite, come out last August and sit on the couch in the What's Good studio and do a full live stream with us when the game was just launching in early access on PS4, and how so many people still were like, what is this game? I don't know what this is. And I really fell in love with the Save the World mode. Back then it was just Fortnite. Because Battle Royale didn't exist, and now obviously it's separated. But they're doing great things, and I think PUBG Core has shown that they have the resources to make the game better and to fix things. So why not fix it, make it better, make it bigger?
Yeah, it's interesting to see them come out and be a little humble about it and admit that, hey, we screwed up and we're going to try to fix this. So more power to them.
Good.
All these stories in the report kind of connect. Number 2. Fortnite sold 5 million battle passes in a day. This is via Rebekah Valentine over at GamesIndustry.biz. Fortnite's overwhelming popularity has led to some record-breaking sales, but there's still room to be surprised. Analyst Michael Pachter has revealed that per Epic Games, 5 million Fortnite battle passes were sold on the first day of Season 3, February 22nd. So important to point out, back in February, this game's only gained more and more momentum since then. Quote from Pachter goes, you can play Game Pass forever by spending $10 once. It's super smart. People are going to see that somebody has that hard to get skin, and more people will sign up for the Game Pass. Epic Games told me 12 weeks ago that the one that started 12 weeks ago, they sold 5 million Game Passes the first day. 50 million in a day. That's a good business model. I think a lot of publishers are going to copy that and move to cosmetics so nobody complains about pay to win. End quote. This is back to Rebekah. To be clear, that number likely includes a good chunk of sales using V-Bucks earned in the previous season. Players who complete all 100 tasks associated with the Battle Pass in a month will earn enough currency to purchase the next month's pass without spending any more real money. Even so, that's quite a number for a single day. In February, Fortnite surpassed PUBG in PC and console revenue, making $126 million over the entire month. The opening of Season 3, parentheses, when those battle passes went on sale, end parentheses, showed a huge spike in Twitch viewership as well, according to Superdata's report for the month. With the game continuing to surpass itself for 2 months after, the question is less, will Season 4's battle pass surpass Season 3's numbers, and more, by how much? Fortnite's insane.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Valve has been doing for years, right? Just quietly in the background, selling all these cosmetics across all of their games. Riot is doing the same thing. So it's no surprise that, Epic was like, hey, why don't we just sell all the cool
but they just do
customizable
it so well.
stuff?
They do it so well, Andrea.
People love to spend money to make their character look cool.
Sure.
Think about Far Cry. That game is first person, and all the cool stuff there, I bought right away and was willing to shell out. Same with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
I wanted the unicorn mount.
To Fortnite, when we were getting ready to jump in and do party modes, right? I started playing a few days before, and it was that first night I played for a few hours. I was like, oh, this is great, and I want it. That character skin is cool. I went and bought it. Here's money for this game that I'm playing and enjoying and having a great time with and going to make content with and do all these different things for. You deserve it, Epic. There you go. And it's still the same thing when I jump on now and I look at what they're doing. Just the fact they rotate it so frequently and give you a reason, especially if you're a hardcore player in there, to change your outfit, with the mood you're in and build this locker room that you can go in and have so much stuff for. It's insane, but it's also really cool. This is the way to do it right. What we're always talking about, the whole loot box fiasco, Battlefield 5 now being we're never doing that kind of stuff. The idea that you can just put cosmetic stuff out there and if you're doing right by the gamer, they're going to do right by you.
Exactly.
Speaking of loot boxes, Greg Way, number 3 on the Roper Report. The ESA president, Mike Gallagher, has some things to say about loot boxes. This is from a very long piece, in a good way, not oh God, what are you doing? From Matthew Handrahan over at GamesIndustry.biz. Mike Gallagher from the ESA president there. He was talking at the Nordic Games Conference. Here are a few cherry-picked parts. Quote, most importantly, these in-game transactions are not gambling, Gallagher continued. Video games never take money from a player and leave them with nothing. They never do. Players always receive an in-game feature that aids in customizing their experience. When you look at the definitions of gambling throughout the world and how it's done and how it's regulated in places like Las Vegas and the US, it's quite different to the mechanism with loot boxes in the games. Continuing, that conclusion hasn't been reached. In other words, that this game mechanic is not gambling by the Entertainment Software Ratings Board in the US, by New Zealand's Gambling Authority, and the UK's Gambling Authority, end quote. Back to Matthew over at GamesIndustry.biz. There are, he conceded, other views on this matter, specifically those of gambling commissions in Belgium and the Netherlands, the existence of which do cast some doubt over Gallagher's assertion that, quote, definitions of gambling throughout the world do not match with any of the current implementations of loot boxes. On this point, Gallagher reasserted the situation in the U.S. where it is up to the developer to choose their business model and the shape of that and to shape that model according to instantaneous feedback and the consumer telling you if something is right or wrong by their participation. Here comes another quote. Those that get it right will be rewarded. Those that don't won't. which I think speaks to what we're talking about. It's loot boxes, but it's microtransaction game where we're talking about Fortnite and how well they're doing. Continuing on, I'm jumping around again though. The industry's role now, he continued, is to educate leaders and policymakers about the ratings and parental tools that exist to protect players, ensuring that content only reaches a suitable audience. He pointed to the International Age Rating Coalition, of course you know it as the IARC, who doesn't, and as evidence of the industry's commitment. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry. The sunglasses and my not having real glasses is affecting my reading too much now. I'm stopping. It was a fun bit for a while. No fun on this show anymore. As evidence of the industry's commitment to self-regulation and in particular to the protection of children, a key issue for both the Belgian and Dutch commissions in their positions on loot boxes. Now I'm jumping further ahead. This is where Matthew pulled the headline from, this upcoming quotes. When you look at these other decisions, we can't go to the lowest common denominator of government around the world and make the standard the rest of the world has to live by and limit the trajectory of the industry, he said. That's not the best approach. Instead, we believe it's best to be clear about the facts and make sure those carry the day around the world. So we drive an outcome that best extends the games industry's frontiers and looks after the interests of gamers. Again, very long piece from Matthew on this over at Games Industry Biz. I encourage you to go read it and get more context for everything. But what's your knee-jerk reaction to this?
They're just covering their ass.
Right?
I mean, that's my knee-jerk reaction. But they're going to get away with it because at the end of the day, they keep coming back to this idea that when you pay for a loot box, you don't get nothing in return. You get something,
yeah.
And when you put money into a slot machine, more often than not, you get nothing back.
Right.
And so I think that that's kind of like the baseline that they're going for here is that you're paying for something and you just don't know what you're getting. Much like people have talked about, you know, the baseball card packs. You talked about the machine where you put your
machines.
The capsule machine. So I mean, we could go back and forth about this all day.
It's just interesting to see him be so adamant, right? These quotes seem not angry, but very steadfast. And like, even when I bring up the capsule machine, we talk about it. I'm like, I get that there's a gamble too. Which am I going to get out of the capsule? I would never be here. Most importantly, these in-game transactions are not gambling. Players always receive an in-game feature that aids in customizing their experience. That's bullshit. I get something that could customize. It doesn't aid in customizing when I get something I don't want out of this.
It's rhetoric to appease lawmakers and constituents. Like, this is not speaking to gamers in any way, shape, or form. The ESA is one of the few organizations that is actually actively lobbying with the United States government to try to protect the interests of video game makers throughout the United States. And because of that, they need to be very clear with their language over the legality of loot boxes. And that's why he's making this statement, which is fine. And I think that that's okay. I think as long as developers hear where gamers are coming from, the people who are actually buying these games, not just angry voters who are like yelling at their, you know, local lawmakers to be like, do something about video games, the people that actually probably aren't even buying video games.
Of course.
I think that this is fine. Just let him shout it into the ether and it's okay.
I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in here. You know, and even it's just, and I'm reading this, right? I don't know what the tone was at the presentation.
Right.
So I'm reading way too much into it where he's like, you have to have a stance, right? If they're in-game gambling or not.
Right.
But and then the salient point is the one we've said a million times, though, right? Those that get it will be right. Those that get it right will be rewarded. Those that don't won't.
Well, I mean, even look at EA's turnaround with their Battlefield 5 announcement last week and how clear they were that there was no longer going to be these random loot boxes in their game. They're divorcing gameplay progression from cosmetic items, that they're just going to be selling cosmetic items outright. I think that's a giant step for a company like EA to make, and I think that they can lead by example there. There's a lot of other companies that are following suit after everything that happened last fall. I think that that's good. I think that
bloodbath of 2017.
That being said, I still like opening llamas in Fortnite. It's still fun. I think that a common ground that I would love to see us get to is having every game maker and publisher just say on the game, whether it be digital or on the box, that this game contains in-game transactions or this contains, you know, random roll loot boxes. However the verbiage is that they want to figure out. I don't think that disclaimer is controversial. Just like the App Store has it and Google Play has it, like just put it on there. And so that way your bases are covered. Parents know that kids can buy stuff inside the game and adults can, you know, use their own judgment on if they want to purchase that game or not.
Agreed. Andrea,
Yes, Greg.
I can't wait to see how the industry evolves about all this. But that's so far away. If
is
I
it?
wanted something immediate, where would I go to find out what came to the mom and grab shops today?
Well, Greg, I think you would go to the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday, including holidays.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Including holidays, right? Because we're taking care of you folks who aren't in the U.S., who don't care about Memorial Day. We're here for you. You know what I mean? The rest of the industry really isn't, though, so it's very quiet. Out today, this is something that got announced. I think we missed it on this show, so I'm just putting it out here. World of Tanks is having a Memorial Day event. Right now, you can get 5 times the XP if you play on Memorial Day. Discounts last throughout, I think, till June 1st. And then there's also a 4X Crew XP multiplier that I believe is happening today, but I think also is part of that June thing. You can correct me if you really want to at kindafunny.com/you're on. Meanwhile, the Xbox 360 got its first system update since March 26, 2016.
Wait, why?
That's more than 2 years ago. Just system stability kind of stuff.
True story. I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I found 5 Xbox 360 Connects while I was cleaning out my garage yesterday.
God damn it, John Drake.
5 of them, you guys.
All for, what was the Harmonix one?
Dance Central.
It was Dance Central, yeah.
And then they made Fantasia.
That's the one I was thinking of. That's
But
what I was
nobody
getting
bought
confused.
that game.
No, and they showed it at PAX's for like 4 years before.
It was a really cool game, though.
Sure it was. You couldn't poke me with a sharp stick to get me into that room to see whatever Fantasia thing's happening. No thanks, guys. It's on Connect too. All right.
You have no childhood spirit left.
That's true. I think Tim went and saw it. I think he liked it fine. Whatever. And then Bless Online is live on Steam Early Access. New dates for you while we are gone. Killer 7 was announced that it's getting a remaster for Steam. It'll be out this fall. Time for Reader Mail. But first, I'm going to tell you it's brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Guess what, everybody? It's Memorial Day. We're grilling out there right afterwards, and we're using Omaha Steaks. If I'm lying, I'm dying. We love Omaha Steaks here.
Delicious.
Cool, Greg, do we love Omaha Steaks? Hell yeah. They send you all this meat, then I'll read through the whole thing for their
tartlet
Father's
things?
Day. Oh, yeah, the caramel apple tartlets.
So
we got
good.
those, too. They take care of it all. You get the meat there. You don't have to eat it right away. You put it in your freezer. Then when you're ready, you defrost it like I did in a bowl of cold water today, and now it's all set to go. It was an instantaneous decision. 10 minutes later, we were ready to go. Anyways, though, Father's Day is right around the corner, so this is an easy way to take care of your dad. You might say, Greg, you don't know my dad, and I'll tell you I don't, but I know my father, who long before we had any kind of sponsorship with Omaha Steaks, I sent him Omaha Steaks, and he liked it and was so blown away that now every holiday I get Omaha Steaks from my father, which is the highest sign that he really enjoyed it. Of course, they deliver hand-trimmed, flash-frozen, and vacuum-sealed meats directly to your door in an Omaha Steaks cooler. You can get pork, poultry, veal, lamb, bison, seafood, vegetables, and more. I'm going to put some potato wedges on there. That came with it as well today. Right now, Omaha Steaks is giving a limited time offer to my listeners for Father's Day at 78% off. This is an amazing deal. Go to omahasteaks.com, type in KF Games, all one word in the search bar, and you get the following deal. The Father's Day package includes 2 filet mignons, 2 top sirloins, 4 chicken fried steaks, 2 boneless pork chops, 4 Omaha Steaks burgers, 4 jumbo franks, 12 ounces of all beef meatballs, 1 pound of steakhouse fries, 4 caramel apple tartlets. I'll put those on the grill for you today too. 1 Omaha Steaks seasoning packet, and you also get 4 more ready-to-grill burgers free with this purchase. Again, this is a limited time package for only $49.99 when you go to omahasteaks.com, type KF Games in the search bar, and add the Father's Day package to your cart. Don't wait. This offer ends soon. Go to omahasteaks.com type KF Games.
That's a screaming deal.
And again, I pointed this
now.
out to Anna Sale on the Game Over Reggie show. I will point it out to you as well. No one's checking to see if you're really sending this to your father. You could just buy all this meat for yourself. No one's checking, Cool Greg. Also, Brooklinen sponsoring this episode. I don't know how many times I got to tell you about brooklinen.com. I guess as long as they keep paying us. But as you know, I sleep on Brooklinen sheets and a comforter. All the photos you see of Porty in the bed are on those sheets and on that comforter. I love it. It is very soft. It is very great. It was easy to pick online. I clicked on all the buttons, put it all together. Jen didn't have to approve it because I could just see online if the things were going to clash. They didn't. She was impressed. Shout out to Jason Inquires over on Twitter, who bought these sheets for his wife. They're getting married very soon. I think he said this weekend. So congratulations on getting married.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you, though, for putting me to the test to see if I'm lying and I'm dying.
Wait,
if these are good
which
things.
ones did you buy? The
Which ones
Lux,
did I
the
buy?
Classic? Which ones did you get?
Oh, I remember the pattern more than this. Come on now. I'm just a dude. I got, I
Okay.
can check them when I get them. I'm just some dude who buys sheets online, all right? Because guess what? You need the sheets. I've told you this before. You think you don't, you do. You can get $20 off and free shipping when you use promo code GAMES at brooklinen.com. Brooklinen is so confident that they are offering a risk-free 60-night satisfaction guarantee and a lifetime warranty on all their sheets and comforters. You can get that $20 off and free shipping. Use promo code GAMES at brooklinen.com. That's BROOKLINEN.com. Promo code GAMES. Brooklinen. These are the best sheets ever. Well, now, where do I want to start with you, Andrea Renee? Here we go.
Sheets.
We're going to start with Farmer. Farmer wrote into kindafunny.com/KFGD, just like you can, to be part of the show, and says, "Hi, Games Daily hosts.
Hello.
What are your opinions on motion controls in games? I saw Greg's retweet of a tweet condemning motion controls of Detroit and calling them a gimmick and don't add to the immersion. I do agree that motion controls are not user-friendly for accessibility reasons and games should offer alternative options. However, personally, I do find the motion controls in Detroit add to my immersion of the game. I like the physical movements of a controller when an action game conveys a strong sense of movement. I just feel like people don't have to be so aggressive to support their viewpoints, especially when it's for a good cause. Asking for accessibility is great, but that doesn't warrant calling something a gimmick and add no immersion, since that will just incite unnecessary hate towards the cause. Thanks." Of course, Farmer's talking about a Steven Spawn tweet that I retweeted, where it was basically I think, pretty much verbatim, like, lol, just watch the first 3 minutes of Detroit and it immediately has a gimmicky motion control thing in there, and there's no way to turn it off, so how would anybody who has a disability be able to play this game? Or certain disabilities be able to play this game? To which I read, and he did distancing for the argument right now of our motion control as a gimmick. I was like, that's a great point that none of us think about. And we bring it up on the show when somebody writes in about, when I'm like, I don't know, who'd want a smaller controller? And Steven writes in, lots of people do. Or somebody asks us, on the show in the past where we've had Steven write in about accessibility options and how they can find that. Obviously, Microsoft just made a bunch of headlines with this awesome controller for $100, right? That's going to let people play the way they need to play or can play. All that is what I was coming from with this retweet of like, yep, wow, here's a great POV that is underrepresented in the industry, and it's definitely underrepresented when we talk about games and stuff. Back to the Detroit pure point, yeah, I think it's totally a gimmick, and it doesn't add to my immersion whatsoever, and I hate it when I'm sitting there comfortably with the controller over my head. It wouldn't be so bad if they didn't have me moving the right stick already, right or left or up or down. So then to have me like do this, like jump off the car, Marcus, shake the controller down, I'm like, no, this is, I have to re-go from where I was, pour the milk or whatever, or the water by turning. No, this doesn't, it isn't, if the whole game was just move controllers, okay, sure, that would make more sense. It just reminds me of the gimmicky 6-axis that never works, and I have to get into a very specific way to pour milk. I hate it.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Also, do you actually like play like this?
I do, yeah.
Like this?
Yeah, if this is my controller, my most common spot is my arm slung over my head, playing like this, leaning back on the couch.
Ladies and gentlemen that are listening,
Yeah.
my right arm is resting on top of my head, and my left arm is coming up to meet it. So like the controller would be like on the left side of my face.
Yeah.
It's a weird position. I feel like I would lose blood in my arm very quickly.
I've done it for years. I don't know why I do that when it's because I'm on the couch, like, lounging back or whatever,
Right.
and I do this thing. It's something I always do.
Okay. Well, I'm with you in the sense that sometimes it does feel gimmicky unless the game is specifically adding in motion controls. I think of a series like Little Big Planet that
Sure.
I think did some motion control stuff really well.
And we've seen the Dreams demo. We've played the Dreams demo of building.
Looks great.
Being able to use the gyroscopes to move platforms to like record actions, that makes a lot of sense. I'm specifically talking about Detroit.
Right. And I'm with Steven in the sense that I really would love developers to start thinking about ways to make their game more inclusive. Obviously, we've seen lots of people respond to him and to others saying like, game developers don't have to accommodate for you. And it's like, no, they don't have to.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be nice if they did?
And that's my thought process on Steve, as Steven and Able Gamers has gotten bigger and bigger and gotten more and more spotlight. Not that they're huge and not that they're juggernaut, not that everybody in the industry knows who they are, but as they have really rallied to this cause of like, oh wow, this is something I didn't think about. And I didn't think about it playing Detroit, and I didn't think about it when I was annoyed with the motion controllers, but they're being like, well, yeah, right. If flicking the stick right or left is already in the game, why isn't there an option just to toggle off motion controls and replace it with that? Jump off the car, not by shaking my controller down, but by bringing the stick down.
Seems like such a simple choice
to
make.
And I'm definitely not of the camp that hey, Quantic Dream, fuck you for not doing this. Not
No,
at
of
all.
course
I
not,
understand you're making a game and there are 3 million things on the checklist to worry about and do. But I would think seeing that, getting it out to people, having this be the response, I would hope that eventually there's a patch that is like, hey, you know what? We didn't think about that. And I am not a video game developer. I feel like it's as easy as State of Decay lets me go in and remap all my buttons. Isn't this a toggle somewhere that you can go in to say replace a shake down with a stick down? I don't know.
Even if it's not easy, a company like Quantic Dream certainly has the resources to be able to add accessibility functions in to replace motion controls.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that they're capable of doing it.
And again, it's not to demonize them or anything like that. I think it's something that if I was making a game, I probably would 100% overlook. Now, granted, I'm coming from being Greg Miller and my team of morons in the other room. You're in this room. Team of morons in the other room, right? Where
Good save.
We've never made a game. We'd make a whole bunch of mistakes. Maybe there's an argument that Quantic Dream should know more or better by this point. And I don't know. I'm not trying to make that at all. I think that
I would make that argument.
I think it's all that we all get to sit here in our own worlds and have our own problems. And the only, the same way that when I play games like this, so I get, I think about how certain button combinations or whatever screw with me on that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be thinking about necessarily how Steven and the people at Able Gamers would have to worry about how they play games. But it's more important to do this. Also, Portillo's here. I heard him bark. That is Portillo's here. Joey, if you're listening, sometime bring that dog in here. People always miss him. Let's move over to VeggieRocky, who wrote into kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, hey guys, in the recent Days Gone Game Informer coverage, one of the devs said there would be one difficulty setting and that it would be hard, claiming, quote, it's not very good when it's easy, end quote. Just wondering how you found it at the preview event. Should an easy mode noob like myself be worried? Keep up the shenanigans.
I also asked this question
Did
during
you?
my playthrough because I struggled a lot with that game, and that struggle made it not fun.
Yeah.
And I understand that there's a whole section of gamers out there who love that, who love it to be as hard as possible, who love that challenge, who love the sense of accomplishment they get when they've overcome that challenge. I understand that section of gamers exists. However, if you're gonna make a big AAA first-party exclusive, don't you maybe want to go, hey, we want as many people as possible to play this game?
Yeah.
This comes back to the accessibility issue. I struggled, and it was depressing, and it was hard, and if that game is that hard all the way around, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish that game.
Interesting.
But the demo that we played, they said was a little ways into the game. Yeah. So we missed all the tutorials and the onboarding, which was also what contributed to it being difficult in that preview setting. So it's going to be hard to know just how difficult it is at launch from the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I just got my Game Informer today. Cool, Greg brought it up from the mailbox. Thanks, bud. So I haven't read the article. And playing the game, I didn't even think about it. I just jumped in and played. And I didn't find it hard.
But you also didn't go to the encampment. You were just wandering around in the woods with your motorcycle.
Well, no,
right?
I went and did. Well, I did the mission. Which encampment? Well, go take down a bunch of humans.
Where you have to clear out all of the humans from the camp.
No, you're 100% correct. Yeah, I went and did the mission where I had to get whatever from the medical facility, which brought out a bunch of freakers. I killed them. Then I went up to the dude, dropped it off at the place, and then I ran around and screwed with the horde and fought other zombies in 2 humans at a time in a couple different settings.
11 humans at a time.
Gotcha.
Difficult.
Gotcha.
Very difficult.
Yeah. No, I would have thought for sure there'd be difficulty settings in there.
I thought so too. And then when he told me no, I was like, oh.
That's an interesting choice.
That's a choice.
Yeah. Huh. We should see how it plays out.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, like that's. But I'm in the camp you're talking about, right? Where it's like, I can see where even when I'm getting my teeth kicked in by a game, which happens rarely. What was the one? There was one recently we talked about that was so hard. Oh, Wolfenstein 2. Where I was like, I'm not enjoying this. I'm turning this way down, right?
I started on baby mode.
That was the first time where I think in my professional career that I remember where I was like, God, this just isn't fun. Fuck this. I'm turning it down. Usually that normal mode right there is good. And I never go up because I feel like then it's just like, well, now I'm going to headshot you. Now I'm going to do this. Now you die in 2 hits. I'm like, that's not fun. It'll be interesting to see with Days Gone how it all plays out. Because I thought it felt like it was a balance of like, all right, cool, but I'm only fighting, freakers or whatever and running from them. But like the 2-on-1 human fight definitely was a challenge of like, oh fuck, how do I want to address this? Where do I hide and stuff like that. I like that part of it. I like having to think it through. And I do like the Far Cry Outpost type gameplay where it is, or Assassin's Creed where, all right, there are all these guys. How can I take them out quietly?
Right, you can't just go in guns blazing.
Like Horizon even, where I would walk up on those encampments, right, and scope them all out and then start engaging. We'll see. We'll see, Andrea Renee. I don't like this question anymore. I don't know why I put it here. Brendan, your question made it to the page, but now I don't enjoy it, and I refuse to read it. Even Cameron's I don't enjoy that much right now. Maybe I'll double back to it. Michael Gulliver wrote in to kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, hello to the Red and Greg connection from a muggy and hot Buckinghamshire, England. That's a good one. I like everything you just said there. The Red and Greg connection. That's good too. Like Rock and Sock, you remember, of course. Mankind, Rock, tag team champions. Stayed up late to watch it because it was just amazing. And then they won it and they had it. It was great.
Someone's calling Cool Greg.
Cool Greg's been making all sorts of noise over there. But it's a holiday, so I'm not going to get on its case. With Judges Week having just happened, With Judges Week having just happened and you guys attending, has being in the press before E3 taken away some of the magic? Is it like finding your presents before Christmas Day, or is there still magic to be found, even with what you have already been shown and are aware of? Love your work and love your faces. Michael Gulliver.
This is a great question. We do get this one quite frequently, and no, it hasn't spoiled the surprise. Sure, we got to see quite a few games. 41 you tallied?
41 is what I had down.
And it was really great to be able to get hands-on time with a lot of those games ahead of the show. But as Greg mentioned previously, a lot of those games are either games that we knew have been announced already, or games that we knew were coming, or there are smaller titles that probably aren't going to get stage time somewhere.
Yeah.
Because the
sizzle reel games.
Yeah, the publisher knows that they're not going to show their big reveal at Judges Week. And that's twofold. One, they don't want to necessarily risk anything happening with their asset or the information ahead of the show.
Yeah.
And two, because a lot of times these assets come in really hot and aren't ready for Judges Week. And they will be ready for E3, but they're not ready like 3-4 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
So.
And I think, to your point, Michael, Judges Week, obviously we got to go down and play a whole bunch of games, 41 games. And to Andrea's, to combine it all of like, yeah, okay, cool. They're not necessarily the biggest stuff. Like the easiest thing to do, right, is like we went to the PlayStation event. We've talked about all the PlayStation first party stuff we saw. So like we didn't see we didn't see any of the stuff they've promoted as like that's gonna be a big E3 thing.
Oh yeah, the press conference games. Yeah. We didn't see any of those.
So no Last of Us, no Ghost of Tsushima, all that stuff down the line. There's that, and then there's also the fact that forever we've been, you and me, planning and being on live shows where it is you hit up, all right, WB, and I'm just pulling that name out of a hat. Hey, we need to book you. All right, cool. We have this AAA game, and they'll be like, it's a AAA open world, blah, whatever the hell it is. And they can't tell you anymore. Do you want to book it? And you have to either take it out. Hopefully they're trusting enough to tell you way off the record what it is, or you have to take a jump on it. The most exciting parts of E3, when people, and I the questions that keep coming up, of course, Thursday we're recording on patreon.com/kindafunnygames, our annual E3 predictions podcast. It'll post on YouTube for everybody the following Monday. Andrew's going to be there. Jared will be there. Tim will be there. The whole crew.
Gatorade hype
moment. The surprises, the things that get you excited about E3 for me are always the things you don't see coming and don't know. And those are 9 times out of 10 trailers that get dropped at the thing, and they aren't doing interviews, they aren't doing appearances later. It is just, hey, here's this new thing we're doing. You're like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Like Beyond Good and Evil 2 last year.
Sure, yeah, y'all fell hook, line, and sinker for that one. Game's not even anything. But yeah, like when Last of Us is there and they just show a trailer and that's it. Like they're not walking around talking about it, but it's there and you know it's going to be there. That's the cool stuff. That's the fun stuff, and that stuff doesn't get ruined. Every press conference we watch, unless you're working very tightly with them, is like, ooh, what's gonna happen? What's the next thing? Yeah, like when every time the lights go down and they play a new trailer, you're excited about it. Drummer Duck 09 wrote into kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, hey Greg and Andrea. Okay, give it to me straight. What's the realistic chance for a Fallout 4 port on Switch? Thanks for either giving my dreams hype or crushing them. Drummer Duck 09. I would say not good, but I am on the Gamescast I was talking about. I think a Fallout 3 or a New Vegas collection even on Switch makes so much sense. But then all that said, why would I think the game's too big? It's this, that, and the other. Well, Wolfenstein ran on it, and granted, linear experience game, very different. Very
different than the open world game that is Fallout 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's a non-chance.
I just think you're more likely to get Fallout 3 or New Vegas or something together from them and be like on Switch.
I don't know why they would go all the way back to Fallout 3 though.
I think it'd be easier to make a PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 game run on Switch.
Oh, I definitely think it would be easier, but I mean, how many people are going to rebuy that? I know that there's going to be a vocal minority that are already raising their hands, being like, I'll buy it. But I mean, porting a game like that is no small feat.
But I think it's also kindoffunny.com/you're-wrong. I think we're on the precipice of I think it's like the 10-year anniversary or something of Fallout 3 this year. Mm-hmm. There's some weird way around it where you could be like, well, I don't know.
I would think that we would get Fallout 4 on Switch before we would get Fallout 3 on Switch.
Okay. Just the Fallout collection. The Fallout Legacy Edition collection of everything. I was also saying, too, it doesn't make any sense with microtransactions, but Fallout Shelter. Fallout Shelter would be interesting on Switch.
We talked about that last week, and I said that the problem, though, is that that's a time management game. You would have to have your Switch with you all the time.
God forbid. I'm sure Nintendo wouldn't want that. Andrea Renee. Okay, some guy writes in to kindoffunny.com/KFGD.
Literally says some guy.
And says, seeing all the mixed reviews for Detroit, where does Quantic Dream go from here? People seem to love or hate their games, so is there anything they can do to change that narrative? I don't think I've ever seen a game so lopsided. Some critics say it's either Game of the Year, and some say it's the worst PlayStation 4 exclusive. The majority seems to be somewhere in the middle. How can Quantic Dream fix their reputation?
I mean, do you want the actual answer? Or like
what's the actual answer?
I mean, David Cage.
Oh, yeah? Get rid of David Cage?
He's a very strong artist personality.
Yeah.
Right? And he's got a very strong point of view, and he's got very, clear lines about how he wants his art to look and how he wants his art to play and what his art to be. And when you have like an auteur like that who's got a very strong vision, I mean, their games are only going to ever turn out one way.
Yeah.
Divisive.
Yeah.
That's the word. Some people really appreciate and love his vision, and some people do not.
Yeah.
And until Quantic Dream, it gets to a place where he's not commanding the vision, then the games are all going to be the same. I mean, not the same as like they're like cookie cutter, as in like they're going to continue to really be divisive games.
And the real question here is, now I don't even know, where does Quantic Dream go from here? It's where does PlayStation go from here with Quantic Dream? Mm-hmm. I think that's a big question mark of, as usual, this is a business, this is dollar and cents, this is all these different things. What is PlayStation's prediction on Quantic Dream sales, on its Metacritic, on all these different things, right? I feel like you say, some guy, all David Cage games, all Quantic Dream games seem to come down this way. Heavy Rain is like very much looked back on now, and everybody's like, oh, it was so great. I remember that even being divisive and people talking shit about certain aspects of it when we were all like how amazing it was.
Absolutely.
Beyond, I was on the other side. I didn't like it that much. Now with Detroit, I like it. I'm trying to platinum it. 89% trophies right now, I think. This last playthrough with Connor. Oh, jeez, I tell you. I didn't think I'd have to play this far back, but I am. I'll get out of it. I won't talk about it now. I'm enjoying it, right? But this is what I expect from them, but that's what I like from them. I like that they're doing weird things and weird choices. And yeah, sure, sometimes it's totally ham-fisted and way too on the nose, but it's like, all right, cool. Like, I understand what I'm getting. I don't know how they could shake that up and not lose who they are in a way. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, David Cage, right? So like David Cage could leave the studio, but then the next games are going to be, I think, both loved and hated for the fact that, all right, clearly this isn't the Quantic Dream we all know and we've all known for so long. Like, how do you balance that? What do you do with that? I think some studios just have to be that. Mm-hmm. So some creators just have to be that. Like, you either love it or you hate it, and that's the long and short of it. Like, what are you going to do? I think with all the drama surrounding both the toxic work environment stuff and then the Paris demo that looked like it was getting into like child abuse and stuff, that made it a little bit more vocal this time around. How many people I think really don't like David Cage as an artist, and you're like, oh, okay, I didn't realize it was this bad before. Because even with Beyond, it felt like, oh, the Heavy Rain people are back, and they were on an upswing, right? Whereas this one, they were a little bit down, and maybe it's also the fact that there's now the internet's even come along so much further since Heavy Rain, right? There is now, everybody knows David Cage now. Before, you didn't know David Cage, you didn't have an opinion or see some interview he did stuff, or even Shuhei falling asleep listening to him talk. Just kidding, that's out of context. There was a whole bunch of things going on. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think you can fix it in quotes. I think that it is what it is, and they have to accept that. Andrea agrees. She's nodding if you're an audio listener.
Yep.
Next one and final one comes from Christian. Christian did not write in to kindafunny.com/KFGD. Instead, Christian went to the Kinda Funny subreddit where he put up the big old Greg Miller bat signal and wrote, "Hey, fellow KFBF." That means Kinda Funny best friends. "I've been following Kinda Funny for a couple of years now and recently became friends with @VerySuperJameis on Twitter through the community. Recently, it seems he deleted his Twitter and nobody in our friend group knows why. We got word that he was okay, but we would still like to somehow let him know that we're here for him if he needs to talk, or if he just needed a break from social media. Personally, he's my first friend in the community and introduced me to many others on Twitter like me that can have conversations about games and nerd things alike. But if @GameOverGreggy, yes, or I'm sorry, you are his favorite Greglo, could say something on air to let James know that we're here for him," period. That sentence built like it was going somewhere, but it wasn't. Just say something to let him know we're here for him. I know he loves Kinda Funny and is probably still watching everything, so this is the only way I know to reach out to him. So thanks, best friends. Times are tough, and we need to look out for each other. Christian. Well said, Christian. Look out for each other. That's what it's all about, being a Kinda Funny best friend. James, we hope you're well. Maybe you just said fuck Twitter. That's understandable. You open it up every day. What do you got to see? Jen being weird. You got to shut that down. You know what I mean? I can't see it every day. I can't know what's happening every day. Andrea, it's time to squad up.
All right.
This is where one of you writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD. You give me your name, username, platform of choice, and why you need help in a video game. I read it here. The best friends come and find you, and everybody has a good time. Today, Devin needs help on the Xbox One X. His Xbox username is Devin, DEVIN, 2787. Why should you play games with Devin? I need friends to play State of Decay 2 and PUBG with. Hit me up. Devin's a man of few words, and I appreciate that. Everybody hit up Devin, 2787. Now, Andrea,
yes.
A rotating segment. A new segment. Don't use third-party Switch docs. Written in by Dougzer. Dougzer says, "What's good, Greg and Andrea? There was a You're Wrong that was read on Friday's show regarding smaller third-party Switch docks and hotels. Beware that these third-party docks have been known to brick switches. Just ask Brian Altano. So just a PSA to all Kinda Funny best friends, only use the official dock or an official Nintendo AC adapter to charge your Switch, or else you could overcharge it and have it be bricked. And it will be unable to recognize any USB-C plugged into it. Thank God there will be cloud saves soon. Dougzer." Good point, everybody. If you're going to use some third-party dock thing, do a Google of it. Figure it out. Are people having problems? Has it bricked their system? God only knows what Brian Altano did to that thing. I'm sure it was disgusting. Andrea.
Yes.
We asked the people watching live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames to write into kindafunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and podcast services around the globe. What did we screw up today?
Capitalist Pig says, Fallout 3 of Nick mentioned there was an anniversary of some sort with Fallout soon. Fallout 3 will be having its 10-year anniversary this October 28th.
Seems like the perfect time for a Switch version. Liam Neeson up? He back?
SNES Chalmers 34 says, yeah, Fallout 3 came out on October 28th, 2008. Also, Skyrim runs on Switch, so the open world running on Switch question has been answered. Yes, Skyrim runs on Switch, but Skyrim is not Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Is not Fallout 3.
Yeah.
They're different games, different teams. Technically, same team. They're all Bethesda Game Studios.
Sure. Yeah, I think Fallout 4's open world is more complicated than Fallout 3's.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It is definitely more complicated. I still think Fallout 4 is a better bet than Fallout 3.
Okay, we'll see. Is that it?
That's it.
Hey, what a good day. What a good Memorial Day for us. Let's run through everybody will be hosting with me this week. Tuesday is Tim Geddes. Andrea's back on Wednesday. Jared's here on Thursday. Then Andrea's back on Friday. That's right.
Doing it all.
Gary Wood is still lost in space. No one knows what he's doing. No one can keep up. He keeps getting inducted into the 501st Legion, I see. I don't know. Star Wars nerd stuff. I don't understand it.
Okay.
It's not a Watto group. I don't get it. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunnygames. Kick us a few bucks. Say we're doing a good job. Then right into the show at kindafunny.com/KFGD. Then watch it live, twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. Watch it later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and listen on podcast services around the globe. What's that, you say? You really like Andrea Renee? Andrea, Renee, where else can people find you?
You can find me at youtube.com/what'sgoodgames, the What's Good Games podcast. It would be really great if you guys have never taken a listen to it. Maybe try it out. Or if you're a fan of it, maybe tell a friend, hey, have you ever heard of the What's Good Games podcast? That'd be nice.
Tweet it out. Tweet out the link. You might think, well, I only have 12 followers. It doesn't matter. No, it matters because those 12 followers, maybe they don't follow me.
Every person counts.
Exactly. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, have a good Memorial Day. It's been our pleasure to serve you. Let's grill.